Dr. Sherman, can you just start by giving us your reaction to tonight's debate?
Well, it's really important that people understand exactly the points that we are so different, and that people understand that difference. My focus is on the people of New Hampshire. My focus is bringing down costs that have gone up under Chris Sununu. My focus is on making sure that women are not put at risk by the Sununu abortion ban. That's my focus. And his is completely different. In fact, it's very hard to figure out exactly where his focus is. But the point is that we have very different styles. I think strategically, I think about solving problems, I think about what's underlying that problem, and he slaps a Band-Aid on the problems and says, we're done, and takes a victory lap. That's not the way I work. That's never been the way I work. And imagine if that's the way I worked as a doctor. That would be a completely different experience.
And so tonight on the debate stage, I have to ask the classic question of who do you think won and why?
I think I got my points across. I think I got the points that we need to have a governor, number one, who will put people before politics. He repeatedly has put politics first, whether it's the abortion ban. You know, he had 3 weeks, and I made this point. He had 3 weeks to negotiate that abortion ban. He had days after it was passed by the legislature if he wanted to veto it, when he could have asked for a continuing resolution, which is exactly what happened in 2019. He didn't. He didn't have the courage to stand up to his own party, and he didn't have the conviction to stand up for the health and welfare and freedoms of the women of New Hampshire. That same courage has been lacking in his endorsements. He has, you know, there are others in the country who have actually stood up, Republicans, who have stood up and said, that person, I don't care what party they're from, that person is not okay. They're saying the election was rigged, or they're saying the next election will be rigged, or they don't have the appropriate character for an endorsement. He still endorses them. But there are Republicans nationally who won't do that. And we're an independent state. We're a state where people really understand that they're looking for leaders. They're looking for leaders with character. And he's shown over and over again with his endorsements, with his actions, with the inability to trust him on women's health, women's reproductive rights, that he can't be trusted. That's not appropriate for a leader. We need a leader we can trust.
Well, so a big statewide platform tonight, a week before election night. What are you hoping voters specifically learned about you tonight?
I want them to understand that I'm someone who cares deeply about them, that we have a pathway forward where we will restore a woman's right to make her own health care decision. We will bring down costs because we know how, and the governor has blocked that, especially on energy, by allowing increasing energy options, allowing people the freedom to produce their own energy. These are things we know how to do, that a child anywhere in the state of New Hampshire can have access to a great public school education, that we're not outsourcing dollars that are meant for public schools to private and religious schools with almost no accountability. Those are the kind of things that separate me from Chris Sununu. I have a track record of standing up for people. My whole life has been about trying to help people. I've done it effectively, whether as a doctor or as a legislator. We need a governor who understands how to do that effectively. And one really great example is his Doorways program. He continues to double down on that. The design was wrong and the implementation was wrong. Just tonight, I was talking to the mother of Amber. Amber is a young woman who died of an overdose, and they started a program so that people with drug addiction could actually have access immediately to care. The governor's program doesn't do that. It misses some of the fundamentals. And that's why 2,500 people in New Hampshire have died of overdoses, and the overdose rate right now is skyrocketing in New Hampshire. But he's doubling down. He's taking a victory lap again. I would never do that. I would solve the problem.
Is there anything else you want to say tonight?
Yes. I want the people of New Hampshire to understand that we deserve better leadership. We deserve a governor who will focus on their needs. We deserve a governor who will care about them. And we deserve a governor who has a track record of actually solving problems, fully addressing problems. And when we do that, we bring down costs. We make it possible for people to live more effectively, lower costs, more freedom in the state of New Hampshire.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.